Good morning. Welcome to another episode of the Electric Bison. I like this piece of art. It's not exactly a cello, but it's obviously a musical instrument. Kind of confounds you when you look at it, but the reason I like it is because of my mother. She used to always sing. Whenever she was doing anything, she was in the kitchen singing. When she was nursing in the hospital, she was always singing. The nuns got after her when she was in training. She'd be singing when she was washing bedpans. People always gave her a bad time, but she loved to sing. She had a beautiful voice. And one time I asked her, I said, "Why do you sing all the time, Mom?" And she says, "It's better than crying." And that's kind of how I feel today. I'm not pleased with how things are going in our country. I think the regular people, just people like you and I, have been forgotten, really. And I don't know why I feel that way. I just do. And I look back on the time of my life. You know, the Korean War was just getting over when I started following this stuff. But I know that when President Kennedy was, he had a few soldiers in Vietnam. But I had some professors that taught me in New York, Richard Gardner and Michael Forrestal. They were close in the Kennedy inner circle, and they said that when Kennedy left for Dallas the week that he got killed, he told them all they was going to get back together when he came back to Washington. They're going to rethink what was going on in Vietnam because we were getting pulled into it too far. Who knows? Maybe that would have made the difference. But when President Johnson took over, he was, for all of his own reasons, it'll probably come out in the biography being done of him by James Carl, the phase of his life when we're in Vietnam. I mean, we went high diddle right up the middle. He put 500,000 people there, and you know, it was a disaster. Right? The more I look back on that war, the worse I feel about it. It was terrible what we did to the people there. For all these, this whole thing about the domino theory and communism and all that crap. And then you move forward, all the little incidental things, and then when we got attacked, you know, I was in the Pentagon, we got attacked. It was a big shock, and the first thing that happened was we started putting people into Afghanistan to find bin Laden, and I was part of that. I was in the National Military Command Center. That was probably a good thing to do. You know, we had to find the guy. We didn't find him for a long time, but, you know, but then while that was going on, we were having trouble finding somebody to sign the deployment orders. Wolfowitz in particular, his secretary was really embarrassed that he was nowhere around to sign the deployment letters, to send orders to send the troops and naval forces into the Persian Gulf and into the stands. Not the Persian Gulf, the Arabian Gulf, and the stands, and it turned out that what happened was he and Cheney and Rumsfeld and Fife, those guys, who had been part of a project called the Project for a New American Century, which I didn't even know about at the time, used that excuse of us being attacked to turn on to the Iraqis and then attack them. And it wouldn't have been possible if we hadn't gone to Vietnam, you know. It's like a incremental imperialism, I guess, where we just go out and mess with other people's lives and in the process screw up our own people's lives. So that happened, and it took us a long time to get out of it. And now we got this dumb shit we have for a president looking at going down and attacking the people in Venezuela. And the only reason given is the reason that he's given for killing 70 or 80 people in small boats, that he thinks that they're bad and they're drug smugglers. It's all on, it's all in his mind, but it's bad. Has absolutely no interest in what it's going to do to our people, how it's going to end. And I just feel very badly for our country that we've deteriorated to this point. I remember when we invaded Cambodia. I was at Columbia University and I was just finishing there, and I had finished my written examination successfully, and I had scheduled my oral exams in Washington with the State Department. So just after the invasion, there was a lot of demonstrations against it, which I was in one huge demonstration in New York City. I went down after my oldest daughter was born the day afterwards, and she was born May 3rd. I think I went down May 5th, down to Washington for my orals, and I got into an argument with the State Department personnel that were interviewing me. There were 3 of them. And it just didn't seem right that we could just go into another country willy-nilly. But now we're doing it like it's nothing. It's very, very wrong. I'm very ashamed of our country that we're even thinking of doing this. So that's got me thinking about singing being better than crying. So I think I'll go home and do a little bit of the singing. Thanks.